Battle of the Bands by xxalwayssofia, read by Avina Reads Fic. Relationship tags are Dazai Osamu and Nakara Chuya. Characters are Dazai Osamu, Nakara Chuya, Armed Detective Agency Ensemble, and Port Mafia Ensemble. Additional tags are Alternate Universe, Rock Band, Alternate Universe, Modern Setting, Alternate Universe, No Powers, Alternate Universe, Celebrity, Established Relationship, Secret Relationship, Relationship Reveal, Soft Dazai Osamu and Nagara Chuya, Singer Dazai, Singer Chuya, Band 80A and Band PM. Summary: Band AU, where Dazai and Chuya are in rival bands. Alternatively, a sort of unique Band AU. Dazai and Chuya are dating. Of course, there's a relationship reveal and a competition between the two bands. Alright, Dazai and Chuya also break the internet. Whoops. Now let's get on with the fic. Yokohama had quite a lot of local bands. As most of the residents knew, some of them just happened to be more popular than the others. There was the Armed Detective Agency, the Guild, the Port Mafia, the Angels of Decay, Order of the Chaos, and many more. And most of the bands made their own music, along with covers by other artists. Every year, an organization hosted by the Battle of the Bands, which had a competition system similar to sports tournaments and such, registered bands were divided into brackets, and there was a competition between two bands at one time. Which band gained more votes from the live audience and the people who were watching from home advanced to the next round. The rules were simple. During one bracket round, each band had to perform a 30-minute set, so the competition/concert was for an hour, after which voting lines were left open for 1 hour. It might not sound very popular, this competition actually gained a lot of supporters and sponsors over time. It started out as just a fun thing between bands, but eventually it became a proper musical tournament of sorts. Currently, whichever band won the final battle got rewarded with lots of various prizes, courtesy of their sponsors. This year's competition has started 3 weeks ago, and a total of 200 small bands had participated. Some were from schools, some from universities, and others happened to independent musical groups. There was almost no restriction criteria for the participants, after all. Over hundreds of competitions, 4 bands had made it to the semi-finals: Armed Detective Agency, Guild, Port Mafia, and the Angels of Decay. The detectives won against the Angels to go up against the finals. Similarly, the Port Mafia won against the Guild to assert their spot at the top. Now, for all band music fans in Yokohama, it was a known fact that the agency and the mafia were rival bands. Both had been established around the same time, around 3 years ago, and their rivalries have been instant ever since they participated in their first bracket match. The Port Mafia had won against the ADA. They had lost in the very next round, but it didn't matter. The seeds of their rivalry has been sown. Ever since then, both bands made a huge show of dissing each other, some of their songs being about the other band. They made it very clear that they couldn't stand each other. In fact, as soon as both bands had found out that they had made it to the finals, they had announced their ultimate showdown, the Battle of the Bands final of this year. And today just happens to be the day of the battle final. Both bands were assembled in the backstage, 2 hours prior to the concert. They had lots to do after all: equipment check, last-minute rehearsals, vocal warm-ups, stretching their bodies in preparation for their dance routine. There was just a lot to do. Since the budget for the competition wasn't great enough to have 2 separate rooms, both bands had to share the same decent-sized hall for their pre-show ventures. The agency and mafia had come to an unspoken agreement about keeping to their side of the hall. Hence, on one side stood Dazai Osamu, lead singer and guitarist of Armed Detective Agency, aged 22, with the rest of his bandmates: Nakajima Atsushi, singer; Endogawa Rampo, saxophone; Izumi Koika, singer and guitarist; Tanizaki Junichiro, bassist; and Miyazawa Kenji, drummer. On the other side stood Nakahara Chuya, lead singer and guitarist of Port Mafia, age 22, with his bandmates Tashihara Michido, singer and bassist; Higuchi Ichio, drummer; Akutagawa Gin, guitarist; Kaiji Motojiro, guitarist; and Akutagawa Ryonosuke, guitarist. Both the bands had clearly different colored themes as well. Armed detective agencies always went for blue lighting, blue equipment, and costumes with blue undertone. Port Mafia, on the other hand, were all about fiery red. Equipment, costumes, lighting, you name it. Usually, both bands stay out of each other's way, except trash-talking each other and adding a break a leg right before one of them went on stage. But something was different today. Maybe it was because they had announced this as their final showdown. Whoever won today's competition would always be the winner between the two groups. The first hour was spent on checking the equipment and other technical stuff such as sound and lighting and whatnot. The second hour was reserved for last-minute dance rehearsals and vocal warm-ups. Since both bands shared the same backstage room, they made it a point to not single their set in front of each other. That would just ruin the surprise. It was also a ritual for both bands to get dressed 15 or 20 minutes before they went live. Today, too, everything was proceeding like they usually would, up until an hour before one of the bands went on stage. Truya, lead singer of Port Mafia, walked over to the agency's side, an event unheard of itself. It was a known fact that Daza and Truya didn't like each other very much. Whenever they crossed paths, they always bickered constantly. Truya also pretty much screamed his head off at his rival during the whole interaction. So it was safe to say that both bands were very confused when the Mafia lead singer walked over to Dazai and held out his gloved hands. Oi Dazai, you wanna go stretch together? Dazai, who was just going through his songbook, looked up. Eh? I just heard somebody speak, but I can't see anyone. Truya kicked his shin lightly. Shut up, asshole. Do you want to or not? Dazai stood up almost immediately, disregarding his songbook to drape his arm around the other's shoulder from behind. Of course! How could I say no to such a chibi? Let's go, Truya! Of course, the redhead could be heard screaming profanities as he dragged the other to a corner to stretch. When Truya had said they were going to stretch, the others in the room had expected them to insult each other while stretching by themselves. It sounded very inconvenient, but that's what everyone figured. It wasn't like they had any experience with this sort of thing. They had never seen Truya come up to Dazai before. The other way around, sure, the agency singer constantly sought the other out just for the sole purpose of annoying him. Anyway, the lead singer duo weren't doing what they had expected at all. Sure, they were insulting each other, but they were helping each other stretch, taking turns and everything too, like regular band members do. But the problem is, they were not band members. It would have been fine if they had stopped after stretching, but no, that's not what happened at all. After 10 minutes of stretching, Dazai helped the other to his feet and the redhead went ahead to fetch something from his bag. Of course, the others were too distracted by whatever it is that the rivals were doing to focus on their own exercises. They watched in confusion as Truya set up an iPad with 2 connected wireless headphones and handed one to Dazai before putting the other in his ears. The Mafia singer must have started playing something, because the two of them soon started dancing together to the same music that was playing on both of their headphones. No, because honestly, what the fuck was going on? The Mafia and agency members watched in horror as Dazai and Truya flawlessly executed an obviously practiced and well-choreographed routine. It was painfully clear that the routine was specifically made for the duo, and as they kept watching the performance, it also became clear that the routine was tailored to fit Dazai and Truya. It wasn't just any random routine from the internet. Oh no, the intricate dance routine used both of Dazai and Truya's separate signature steps, plus a few really difficult-looking steps which neither of them had performed with their bands before. It was a clear indication that both of them had danced together at least once before in their lifetime. The carefully crafted routine came to a stop soon enough. The other band members watched in shock as Dazai laughed giddily, taking his headphones off. Chippy, that was so great! Their shock worsened when they saw Truya corresponds with an equally wide grin. Right? I think we can pace up the second leg of the performance a little, though. It'll match the beat of the song more. Dazai replied thoughtfully. I think you're right. Nah, Truya, let's sing something. The redhead frowned. We're not supposed to sing before we go on stage, dumbass. Dazai rolled his eyes. Not our sets or anything, obviously. Nothing too strenuous either. Just something for fun. Truya rolled his eyes, but to everyone's further surprise, he agreed. He went ahead to fetch his acoustic guitar and then proceeded to sit down opposite to Dazai on a pair of stools. Of course, for the first few seconds, they did their vocal warm-ups. The pair even did their vocal warm-ups in sync. It is actually downright creepy. They did all the different exercises together, one after the other, and it didn't seem like they needed to communicate to decide in which order they would be doing the vocal exercises. Everybody watching with bated breath as they started singing once their warm-up was done. They really shouldn't have been surprised when the song turned out to be a perfect, seamless duet. Daza and Truya seemed to know exactly which part was theirs to sing, and which part for both of them to harmonize on. Their harmonies hit perfectly, and neither of them fumbled on the lyrics. It was as if they sung the same song over and over many times, but as everyone was quick to notice, they didn't recognize the song. It didn't seem to be by any artist, and it definitely wasn't by either of their bands. In fact, Daza and Truya hit their notes so perfectly, it was almost as if the song was written for them. And of course, that's when it clicked. The song was written for them. It was a duet for them, and it seemed to be an original song. Did that mean that they wrote a song together? That the lead singer of the rival bands, Armed Detective Agency and Port Mafia, collaborated on writing a song, without making either of their bands aware of this major fact? Exactly 4 minutes later, the song came to an end. Daza and Truya grinning at each other before raising their hands for a high five. The Mafia and agency members couldn't help but start applauding. The two singers startled as soon as their audience started clapping. It was as if they had forgotten that they weren't alone in a room. The duo exchanged conservatory glances before turning back to the others and thanking them. A slight flush tainting Truya's face. Atsushi spoke up. Daze-san, Truya-san, what is that song called? It's absolutely beautiful. I've never heard it before. By now, members of both bands had intermingled, way too caught up in their attempts at getting closer to their leaders to listen to their duet performances. Tashihara, who was standing next to Atsushi, nodded. Yeah, it's a really good song. Hey Truya, do you mind sending me the link to it? Daze grinned. There's no link, boys. It's an original song. Truya hit him in his arm before replying to Atsushi. The song is called Traitorous Sunset. The bastard and I wrote it ourselves. Higuchi piped in. I didn't know you guys knew each other out of our competitions. Daze burst out laughing at that, warranting himself a glare and a kick from Truya. The latter rolled his eyes. Yeah, well, to my greatest misfortune, we do. Daze wiped his eyes. Such lies, Truya speaks. Nah, Truya, you know you won't grow if you keep lying, right? You'll be a chibi forever if you continue like this. Truya growled at him. Asshole, stop calling me short. Kenji, the agency's drummer, interrupted them with an eager question. Are you guys dance partners? Your dance routine earlier was so cool. Truya softened at the sight of the blonde boy. I suppose you could say that. Daze slung an arm around his redhead's shoulder. Yeah, Truya comes up with all our dance routines by himself. In fact, most of my signature steps that everybody knows is choreographed by Truya too. Akutagawa coughed. Really, Truya-san? You're helping the enemy now. Truya waved his hand. It's not like that, okay? I came up with those steps for him before we formed our bands and became rivals. Besides, a lot of our songs are originally written by Dazai. Yes, I turned in the lyrics, but Dazai wrote most of my songs, so... Of course, that sent both bands into a frenzy. Ashushi cried out, Dazai-san, you've been writing songs for the Port Mafia too? Daze was quick to brush off the question. Like Chibi said, that was before we formed our bands. We've written songs together after that as well, but they aren't for the band. Tanizaki immediately pointed out. Both our bands formed 3 years ago. Does that mean you two have known each other longer than that? Truya said thoughtfully. Oh, that? I think I've known this bastard for 20 years now. He moved into the house next to mine when we were just 2, so we've pretty much known each other forever. It was safe to say that everybody's eyes bugged out. Tashihara raised his hand. Wait a damn minute, Truya. Haven't you been singing and playing music since you were 10? Does that mean you two have been singing together for over 10 years now? Dazai grinned. Yep, precisely. We got into music after we attended the Grandio concert together once. We even had our own musical duo and everything. Kenji said excitedly. That's so cool. I've never been to a concert before. Other than Battle of the Bands shows, of course. Truya turned to him. Yeah? Is there any band you particularly want to see in concert? Kenji said thoughtfully after turning to Koika once. Koika and I are huge Double Back fans. We've listened to both their albums and we really want to see them in concert someday. Daze said very casually. Oh yeah, Double Back used to be quite big. Whatever happened to them? Chuya looked at him and shrugged, his eyes shining with mischief. Oh yeah, they're on hiatus, right? Higuchi complained. Hiatus my ass! They are liars, that's what they are. They said they'd be on a 1-year hiatus, but guess what? It's been 3 years and we still don't have any word from them. Tanizaki joined the conversation. Nobody has ever seen Double Back though, right? Like everybody knows about their careers, but we don't know who the members are. They have never performed in concerts and they only do radio interviews. They're completely anonymous. Tashihara nodded. Yeah, in radio interviews, the host refers to one of them as Double and the other as Black. How very unoriginal. Akutagawa asked to confirm the very little facts he knew about the musical group in question. They are a duo, right? I heard they started their careers when they were just 15 and produced 2 official albums in 3 years before they went on hiatus. Ajushi noted. Yeah, they're both men, and I think there were a few rumors about the 2 of them actually being boyfriends, along with being a professional duo. Koika spoke up for the first time that evening. I really wish they'd get back together. Genji nodded and sighed. Yeah, me too. Before anybody else could say anything, Konikita, the stage manager, burst into the backstage room. Dazai Nakahara, on in 15. Tanizaki asked in confusion as the stage manager left right after his announcement. Wait, what? Why the 2 of you? Chuya sighed. We're making our announcements before the show. That was all he said before him and Dazai went into the changing rooms together to get changed into their costumes for the show. While they were gone, Ajushi turned to Rampo, who had just arrived along with Kaiji. Those 2 were extra instrumentalists and didn't always perform with the band. I think Dazai-san is going to announce our disbandment before the show. Meanwhile, Higuchi softly spoke to her bandmates. I think Chuya-san is going to announce his departure from his band before the show. 10 minutes later, Dazai and Chuya were on stage, microphones in their hands, respective blue and red spotlights on them. The auditorium in front of them was completely packed, and the crowd was going nuts. After all, the lead singer of Armed Detective Agency and Port Mafia were sharing a stage. That was once in a blue moon occurrence. It was truly very exciting. Chuya stretched the band before offering them his usual charming grin. Good evening, fuckers. I know what you are all thinking. Something must have possessed Chuya for him to willingly share stage with this bastard over here, right? Dazai admonished him with a grin. Language, Chibi. There are children in the audience. Chuya blushed red immediately. Oh crap, sorry, I didn't mean to fuck up. Dazai was ready to roll on the floor with laughter as he pulled away Chuya's mic from him, the latter burying his face in his hand with embarrassment. He murmured to himself and to his partner on stage. This is why I don't do shows where I have to speak, damn it. Dazai nudged him, his mouth away from the microphone. It's not that bad, line up, Chuya. He then turned back to the audience. Excuse my wonderful rival's mishap, everyone. As he said, you must be wondering why we are sharing a stage today. Chuya took back his microphone and spoke again. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, the reason is that both of us have an announcement to make. Dazai warned. Now, neither of our announcements are fun, but we hope that you won't let that ruin your moods. We want you to enjoy our performance after this, alright? But we wanted to make the announcements first so you know what's coming. Chuya, you want to go first? Yours isn't as bad as mine. Chuya subtly squeezed the other's fingers before nodding. Yeah, okay, so, both of us have bad news. His is definitely worse than mine, though. I know how much both of our bands mean to you, and we know that it won't be easy. Someone from front row screamed out, Chuya, get to it already! The person next to them added with a shout, Yeah, we're already super stressed! Chuya winced. Right, sorry guys. Okay, so, today is actually my last performance with Port Mafia. After this last competition, I'm leaving the band. The crowd went absolutely crazy, and not in a good way. Confused, slightly enraged shouts could be heard all over. Chuya raised his hand to quiet them. Of course, this wasn't an easy decision, and we will be announcing this on social media later. I just wanted to tell you guys in person first. The Port Mafia members are like siblings to me. We're all very close, and I love those guys. Akutagawa, Gin, Higuchi, Tashihara, and Kaiji. I love all of them, and they are truly irreplaceable to me. But it's time for me to move on. This is, of course, easier said than done. Please don't think I'm quitting music because I'm not. I have another musical project planned and I promise you guys that you won't be disappointed. As far as Port Mafia is concerned, Tashihara will be taking over as lead singer. I hope you guys can forgive me and that you will continue to support me and the band both. That's all. For a few moments, the auditorium was still silent. Then, the crowd broke out into encouraging cheers. They shouted about how they would support Tria no matter what he did, and how they can't wait for his new project. They also yelled about how Port Mafia would always be loved. It touched Tria's heart, really. He beamed at his fans. Thanks, guys. I can see some of you crying and I'm so sorry. But hey, Dazai's announcement is worse, so at least you'll hate him more. Dazai spluttered next to him. Chuya, that's just rude. That's not what I had in mind when I let you go first. Now they truly hate me more. The crowd immediately started yelling, asking Dazai to make his announcement. He winced for a bit before stepping forward. Okay, calm down, jeez. So it's my turn now. This is difficult for me and my band, and I know that it's going to be hard on you guys too. Basically, Armed Detective Agency is splitting up. The crowd broke out into rage screams and shocked cries. Tria hushed them all so Dazai could go on. I know, it is unfair. This shouldn't be happening right now, but it is. And we are all truly sorry. As you guys know, other than me and Rampo, all the other members are still in high school. Atsushi and Tanizaki are just going to head off to college. They have all decided to pursue their studies for a while. Somebody from the front row shouted, Is this just a hiatus? Dazai heard her question and shook his head. I'm sorry, but no, this is not a hiatus. We are officially breaking up after today. The younger members are going to be focusing on their studies. We have been a band for 3 years and we are all very close, and we always will be. They are all family to me, of course. But it's time for us to go our separate ways. I'm sure they all want to tell you guys their plans themselves, which we are going to do after the show. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not quitting music either. I also have a music project planned, and it's going to be great. I just know you guys are going to love it. But for now, let us all enjoy the last ever Armed Detective Agency performance. Alright, Julia added. And my last performance with Port Mafia. I'm sure you guys know why this is the ultimate Armed Detective Agency versus Port Mafia showdown. Dazai nodded at him before turning back to his audience and grinning. Without further ado, please welcome Port Mafia on the stage. Break a leg, guys! With that, the lights focused on the 6 Port Mafia members as they started playing their set. Dazai slipped back into the backstage room quietly, unseen. For the next half hour, the audience had an absolute blast with Port Mafia's performance. It was fantastic, as usual, and they, of course, had a lot of mixed feelings. Once they were done, it was Armed Detective Agency's turn, and they absolutely killed their performance too. Once both sets were done, it was time for the 1-hour voting window. Usually, the audience were supposed to go get more snacks and vote for the teams, and that's what they did this time too. But Armed Detective Agency took to the stage together for the first ever to take turns to talk to the fans. The fans had a lot of questions about Dazai and Chuya's future projects, but neither of them disclosed anything. Port Mafia assured their fans that no, they would not be splitting up just because Chuya was leaving. They all supported his decision, and they wished him the best, while continuing to be a band still. Armed Detective Agency members took turns to talk about their future plans. Rampo joked about getting a job at an actual detective agency, but some fans could tell that it was not completely a joke, and that he was actually considering it. Tanizaki talked about being excited for college. He had his course picked out and everything, and his sister would be attending with him too. He couldn't wait. Atsushi was going off to college too. Koika and Genji was starting the same high school next fall, and they were very excited about getting to enjoy their high school experience together. The fans were sad about their disbandment, but they were happy for the members and supported them. As Truya said later, both bands truly did have the best fans. Once the voting hour was over, it was, of course, time to announce the winner. For a change, both bands were allowed to remain on stage as the host, Yosano Akiko, walked up to the middle of the stage, an envelope in one hand and a microphone in the other. She waved at the audience. Hey losers, miss me? I couldn't open the show for you guys like I usually do because Daza and Nakahara here had to take over and break your fragile little hearts. How rude, isn't it? The crowd cheered in her favor. She was, after all, the beloved official Battle of the Bands host. Yosano grinned as she curtsied. Thank you, thank you. I love you guys too. Now, for the winners. Let's see here. She opened the envelope and pulled out a card. She whistled as she read the results. Wow, this is actually really close. She brought out the trophy and turned to Armed Detective Agency. Everyone give it up for Armed Detective Agency, winner of the 2018 Battle of the Bands. All of the crowd cheered the winning band, no matter who they had voted for. Dazai accepted the award gracefully. Thank you, Yosano-san. Hey, you said it was a really close result, right? Yosano nodded. Yep, you guys got 51% of the votes. Trio whistled next to her. Whoa, that actually is really close. Dazai stepped closer to Trio as Yosano stepped away. Nah, Trio, looks like I won our ultimate showdown. Trio gave him a smile. You did. Dazai narrowed his eyes at him. Hold on, I'll come back to you. He then passed on the award to his band members before taking to the mic to speak to the audience. Thanks for everyone who voted to us. You guys sitting right here and the guys at home. We really appreciate it and I hope you enjoyed our last performance. He then passed on the mic too, letting all his bandmates to thank their voters personally. Port Mafia got their turns to thank the audience for voting them as well, even if they didn't win. It was a really close loss after all. During all the speeches, Dazai did get back to Trio. He tilted his head at the other. You right? Trio shrugged. Of course, you guys won, and I think it was well deserved. Dazai teased softly. Aw, Trio, you finally learned to be a good sport. Right before the curtain closed, the audience gaped at the stage as Trio pulled the agency lead singer into a hug after whispering to him, Shut up, asshole. Of course, the crowd promptly broke into confused screams, demanding answers such as, Since when exactly were Dazai and Trio on hugging terms? A month later, everybody got the answers they wanted, via a tweet from the official Double Black account. Yes, that's correct. The famous duo known for their really good albums and anonymity, whose Twitter account had been inactive for the past 3 years, posted a picture of their faces along with an announcement that pretty much broke the internet. Double Black at soukoku. Hey guys. No, you're not dreaming. It is really us, the asshole duo you know as Double Black. It's been 3 years since you last saw us, but perhaps now you know us better as Dazai Osamu from Armed Detective Agency and Nakahara Trio from Port Mafia. Surprise! Told you we had something planned. Yes, this is actually true. None of you guys have seen our faces before, but Double Black is really Dazai and Trio. It's always been us. I'm sure you guys are having a hard time believing it, but geez, guys, it's true. Compare Double Black's songs with our solos and our respective band songs, alright? You'll see. Ugh, so suspicious. Anyway, so we are back for real. I know all of you guys have been waiting for us to stop our hiatus, and your wishes have finally come true. Now, we know we went on our hiatus rather abruptly, so we'll take this opportunity to explain ourselves. We started out in the music industry when we were just 15, and we went on hiatus a few months after we turned 18. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that the members of Double Black are actually in a romantic relationship. And guess what? It's true. And no, we did not go on hiatus because we broke up. We've been together since we were 15, and we've known each other since we were 2. Anyway, we took a break from Double Black because we wanted to see how we work with other people. It's just been the 2 of us for all our lives, so we wanted to branch out and see what else we can find. We were hoping to find a new sound, a new band, new friendships, and new experiences. We lived together during our years in separate bands, just as we did when we were Double Black. Nothing had changed. We still made music together, made dance routines together, recorded songs together. In fact, we never stopped recording. Which brings us to our second announcement. Please look forward to our brand new and our third studio album titled Lie of the Fake Flowers, exactly a month from today. And since a month is a long time for some of you guys, look forward to our brand new single releasing in 3 days. It's our favorite track on the album and it's called Trader's Sunset. We can't wait to hear what you think of the track. We don't want to overwhelm you. But one last thing. We'll be going on a Japan tour early next year. So if you've always wanted to see Double Black in concerts, you actually can. See you all there. Love, Daza and Chuya, Double Black. At fuck hiatus. What the fuck? Hold up. What? At xxdazai. Excuse me? Whatever happened to you guys being rivals? Hello? Oh my god, soukoku is canon. At Chibichu. Oh fuck, my girlfriend just fainted. Guys, seriously, what the fuck? At SKK is back. Hell yeah, Double Black is back. Let's go. At Dazai X2. Hashtag Double Black Save 2018. At soukoku Reunion Era. Double Black really woke up and chose to break the internet today. At fuck Chuya. They were not kidding when they said they had something planned, oh my god. At Precious Dazai. No, seriously, what the fuck? Hashtag Double Black Save 2018. At Higuchi. Okay, wait. The assholes Double Black are you guys? Is this what you meant when you said we had a musical duo at some point? At Mishizo LOL. What the fuck, Chuya? At Not Jinko. Dazai-san, you were dating Chuya-san all this time? At Goika Want Crepes. I want concert tickets as compensation for all the heartaches you've caused me. Thanks. At Kenji-kun. Oh my god, Goika-chan, we can go to a Double Black concert. Our wishes are coming true. At Gin from PM. Fuck you guys. I want Lie of the Fake Flowers now. At Akutagawa. You have our support, Chuya-san. The fans are going to love Trader's Sunset. It's truly beautiful. At Tanizaki is so done. Double Black is back and it's Dazai and Chuya. At Tanizaki is. At Tanizaki's sis. We should go to their concert, brother. At Besties. At Best Detective. Congratulations on double-handedly breaking the internet, Lamau. Great going. At Yusano the Fuck. The question is the Port Mafia going to open for you guys on your Japan tour? At Double Black. At Yusano the Fuck. That's actually a great idea. Hey, at Port Mafia, what do you say? At Port Mafia. Fuck yes? Higuchi, Gin, and everybody else. Yeah, Double Black had a lot of questions to answer, both to their friends and ex-bandmates and their fans. This fic is part of a trilogy of the name of Double Black, the band AU trilogy, and I want to ask you guys if you want me to continue this trilogy. There is a prequel and another fic after this timeline, I believe. So if you guys want me to read those fic, comment down below, I guess. I hope you have a fantastic day, month, and year. Bye-bye!